Two fishermen were out on the lake early one morning when they saw something strange floating near the shore. As they got closer, their blood ran cold. It was a body, wrapped in chains, bound with duct tape, weighed down by cinder blocks. When police pulled her out of that water and identified her, they realized she was supposed to testify in court in just 2 days against a man who had raped her, a man who had threatened to kill her and her baby if she ever told anyone. And when investigators finally tracked him down, they discovered he wasn't just a killer. He was a predator who had made multiple people disappear. This is the story of Marvin Gabrion and Rachel Timmerman. August 7, 1996. Rachel Timmerman was 18 years old, a young mother trying to turn her life around. That night, she left a party with a family friend, a man named Marvin Gabrion. He was 43, twice her age, someone her family trusted. 2 other men were in the car with them, but at some point during the drive, Gabrion ordered them out. Then he drove off alone with Rachel. Gabrion took her to an isolated field. He beat her. Then he raped her 3 times. When he was done, he threatened her. "If you tell anyone, I'll kill you." Rachel was terrified. But 6 months later, after much convincing from her family, she finally went to the police. In January 1997, Gabrion was arrested and charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct. He was released on bail 2 weeks later. And that's when Rachel's nightmare truly began. Around the same time, Rachel violated her probation for a drug offense. She was arrested and placed in county jail for 5 months. Some believe Gabrion may have tipped off the police about her drug use. If she was in jail, she couldn't testify against him. But in May 1997, Rachel was released. The trial was scheduled for June 5th. On June 3rd, just 2 days before she was supposed to testify, Rachel and her daughter, Shannon, disappeared. Nobody saw them leave. Nobody knew where they went. They simply vanished. Rachel's family immediately suspected Gabrion. He had threatened her. He had motive. And now, right before the trial, she was gone. But there was no evidence, no witnesses. Until June 5th, 2 fishermen were out early morning on Oxford Lake, a body of water inside Manistee National Forest. They saw something near the shore, something that didn't belong. As they approached, they realized what it was: a body. The woman's eyes and mouth were covered with duct tape. Her body was wrapped in chains. Cinder blocks were attached to her, weighing her down. Someone had tried to make sure she stayed at the bottom of that lake forever. Police pulled her out. It was Rachel Timmerman. But Shannon was nowhere to be found. Marvin Gabrion became the prime suspect immediately. But he was gone, disappeared. Police searched his home, found keys that matched the padlock used to secure Rachel's body, found concrete blocks stained with the same paint as the ones pulled from a lake. Gabrion's nephew led police to a campsite his uncle frequently used. They found Gabrion's tent, bolt cutters, chain, duct tape, a woman's hair clip, and nipples for a baby bottle. The evidence was mounting, but Gabrion was in the wind. 4 months later, in October 1997, the FBI finally tracked him down. He was hiding in Sherman, New York, a small Amish community, living under a fake name, Robert Allen, cashing Social Security checks that didn't belong to him. When they arrested him, they couldn't immediately charge him with murder. They arraigned him for Social Security fraud instead. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for the fraud. While in prison, Gabrion made a terrible mistake. He drew a map of Oxford Lake for a fellow inmate, marked 3 spots on the lake, wrote, "Body of 3, 1 found." He confessed to inmates about killing Shannon, said he dumped her in the lake too. "I had nowhere else to put it," he said. In 2002, Marvin Gabrion went to trial for the murder of Rachel Timmerman. The prosecution presented devastating evidence. Multiple witnesses testified about Gabrion's propensity for violence. 2 witnesses said their homes had been set on fire after they had altercations with Gabrion. Another woman described how he turned a rifle on her and her 2-year-old child, and they presented evidence linking Gabrion to other disappearances. Gabrion was never formally charged in these murders, but the pattern was clear. Anyone who could testify against him disappeared. During the trial, Gabrion was erratic, disruptive. He punched his own defense attorney in the face in front of the jury. He committed 40 major infractions while in custody. The judge had to deny his right to represent himself because of his behavior. On March 16, 2002, the jury returned a verdict: guilty, first-degree murder. And because Rachel's body was found on federal land, federal prosecutors were able to seek the death penalty, even though Michigan had abolished the death penalty in 1846. Marvin Gabrion was sentenced to death. He became the first person in the United States to receive the death penalty for a crime committed in a non-death penalty state since the federal death penalty was reinstated in 1988. For 22 years, Gabrion sat on death row. He appealed multiple times. Every appeal was denied. Baby Shannon was never found. Gabrion never admitted what he did with her, never showed remorse. Then, in December 2024, President Joe Biden commuted the sentences of 37 federal death row inmates. Marvin Gabrion was one of them. His death sentence was changed to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He will never walk free again, but he will also never face execution for what he did to Rachel and Shannon. Rachel's family finally got justice, at least partially. But Shannon? She's still listed as missing, presumed dead, but never found. Somewhere, possibly at the bottom of Oxford Lake, a baby's body still waits to be discovered. And Marvin Gabrion, now 71 years old, will die in prison carrying that secret with him.